Glucose metabolism is breaking down the nutrients that you put into your body into energy. So plants do photosynthesis in their chloroplasts, and they release oxygen and they release glucose. The glucose is what we uptake in order to make energy, and we use oxygen in this process as well. We release from cellular respiration water and carbon dioxide, which the plant then uses to make sugars. So one glucose molecule and 6 oxygens are going to be broken down into 6 carbon dioxides, 6 waters, ATP, and then the extra stuff is going to be released as heat. So in our cells, we take one glucose molecule, which is 6 carbons, and we convert it into 2 pyruvates. In the process, we use 2 ATP to start this reaction. We end up making 4. But because we've already used 2, we end up having a net of 2 ATP. So one glucose molecule gets broken down into 2 pyruvate and 2 ATP. Pyruvate is a 3-carbon molecule that is going to go into the mitochondria if oxygen is present. From there, it will be formed into acetyl-CoA, which is only a 2-carbon molecule because 1 carbon dioxide gets released here. And that acetyl-CoA will then go into the Krebs cycle. The third process that happens in the mitochondria is the electron transport chain, and the electrons are being transported and creating energy. So from the electron transport chain, we can get 32 to 34 ATP. If oxygen is not present, then once we make our pyruvate, this will not go into the mitochondria because it doesn't have oxygen. Then we will produce something called lactic acid. So if we do fermentation, we take 1 glucose molecule, we make 2 pyruvate and 2 ATP, and then this all stays in the cytoplasm, and we make 2 lactate or lactic acid, and this produces no ATP. Yeast, for example, don't produce lactic acid, they produce ethanol. They are going to take the glucose molecule, form pyruvate. They don't need any oxygen for this to happen, and they're going to produce ethanol and CO2. So this ethanol is the alcohol that's in our beer and our wine, and then the CO2 creates the bubbles. So one glucose molecule is going to go through the glycolysis process whether there is oxygen present or not. Glucose is going to get into the cell through facilitated diffusion. It's going to be broken down regardless of whether you have oxygen present in a cell or not. The product is going to be 2 pyruvate and 2 ATP. That pyruvate, if oxygen is present, will then go into the mitochondria. And in the mitochondria, we're going to do cellular respiration. First, we're going to make acetyl-CoA, and then it will go through the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle will give us 2 ATP, and then number 3 is the electron transport chain, and we can get 32 to 34 ATP there. depending on the type of cell. So if we do glucose metabolism going through glycolysis and cellular respiration, we can get 36 to 38 ATP depending on the type of cell. If oxygen is not present, then the pyruvate is going to go through fermentation and we will produce lactic acid. Yeast, for example, will produce ethanol. We do not get any ATP from this. So if we have to go through glycolysis and fermentation repeatedly, we're only going to get 2 ATP.